welcome back to another Draw with Hannah video. Who's Hannah? I'm Hannah. And today I really want to break down the human body into like almost the simplest form you can possibly imagine. So today I just, like I said, want to break it down, and I want to talk about movement and hopefully give you some insight and knowledge into how maybe you can make poses for your people more fluid and maybe more open and more creative. So let's get into it. So if you can see here, I have these tiny little stick figures drawn, essentially. They're tiny little guys. So right here, I'm gonna draw over this guy, kind of show you what I got here. I want you to, if you want to, go ahead and pull up a piece of paper or whatever you like to draw with and go ahead and draw this with me. I think it'll be helpful. It's helped me before too. So right here, I'm drawing a circle for the head. Doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, that's like an oval. It's not a circle. Draw an oval for the head. And then I like to draw like a T in the middle of the head that shows me where this head is facing. So whether it's facing here or here or here or wherever. Now, I just draw a little line, and then I draw this little kind of rounded box shape. Just a box, just whatever. This represents your chest, your ribs, this strong top part of your torso area. I also like to draw a line in that, but we'll get more in those lines later. Then I draw a line, again. Doesn't really matter how long it is. You don't have to make it super long. You don't have to make it super short. And we draw like a little boat shape or a square shape. Honestly, does not matter, just as long as it's not bigger, not wider than your torso. And then we can draw these two little circles right here on the kind of corners, I guess, of your little box down here, which is technically the pelvis area. And then draw two lines just going down. Don't have to be super long. And then either circles or just go into triangles. And these are your feet. And then wherever the middle of your lines are, there's knees. And then up here we have shoulder and shoulder. Those two circles go on the corners of your box. And then I just like to draw a line kind of going down to the pelvis area, and there's a little circle, and square for hands. And there is a very, 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 very simplistic version of the human body. The buff stick figure version. That's what we're gonna call them, our buff stick figures. So from here, you can draw a bunch of those if you'd like. But now that we have this little buff stick figure, we're gonna talk about something called a line of action. Now, a line of action is the line of which your character kind of follows. So it shows which direction they're going, it shows which way the picture is pulling or whatever, but it's your line of action. Where is the action going? Along this line. So like this little guy right here, we're gonna go over him. We have his head here. We have his chunky chest right there. And then you don't have to draw, you can draw circles for the shoulders if you want, but honestly, you can just draw a line for your arms. Woo! And then draw your wrists and hands. And then you have your pelvis right there. And then leg and leg. So obviously, legs don't really bend like that. But you can have them go more straight down like that. Maybe have this guy actually come forward. That. Boom. Boom. Boom, and their feet are angling down, and it looks like he's just kind of whooshing up into the sky. So this right here is our line of action. And what I was thinking we could do is just draw a bunch of lines of action and see how our character follows them. So let's go for it. Now we have this guy. I have a couple pre-drawn. You can draw your own if you'd like, or you can copy the ones I have here. I just drew like a weird sideways two, just kind of a little squiggle. And then, let's see. So I have my guy's head right here, and I think he's facing sideways. So I think he's looking this direction. So with my chest, I'm also gonna have it face that direction. Same with my pelvis, but it's kind of It's kind of curving, so his back is kind of arching a little bit. So maybe bring that up. And then we have one leg. I'm gonna bring up this way because he's like, whoa, what's happening? And then the other leg is just going down. Like, wow. And then I think his arms go like this. Woo, flinging up with that line. And there you go. With your line of action, I want you to try and do this where like I could have had my arms going back with the rest of the body, but that means that this part of the line would be empty. And it's okay that this part of the line is empty too, because I didn't draw him as big as I wanted him to be. But if you can, try and fill up that line of action. See what would make sense with your little buff stick figure's body in that line of action. All right, so we have a few more examples right here, but you see this is just straight on. And he's just standing straight, nothing crazy. This is just a simple squiggle. Our character's like, woo, dancing. And then this guy is just like straight up there. He's flying like Superman. So let's draw a few more lines, shall we? Let's do boom, boom. That's my line. Like a weird lightning bolt. Let's do this. I'm gonna draw his head right here. Kind of facing that way too. And a bigger head. His chest right here, and then his pelvis right there. And then I'm gonna bring one of his legs more this way. And do that. And his other leg is going to follow the rest of this line of action. Boom. And then we're going to have his arms just hold his stomach. He's probably feeling sick, poor guy. And there we go. There's that guy. And now, let's do another one. Let's just do boo-doo-doo-doo. Ha! Pretty... I mean, not like it's very different from my other lines that I've drawn before. But, here we go. Let's put his head down here. Let's put it right here. So he's gonna be kind of going a little crazy. And then we're gonna have his chest right here. And his pelvis is gonna come down right here. This one might be a little awkward. Ooh, I think I challenged myself too much. Bring his arms down like he's trying to get up. And then we're gonna make him... He has really long arms and knees, just so you know. And it's okay to get a little exaggerated with the body parts here, because we're just trying to be loose, have fun. And then we're gonna do this. And also big feet. But then I'm gonna bring this other leg up this way, like he's donkey kicking something or whatever. And his foot's gonna go back like that. So, it's kind of a wonky pose, but look at that. We follow our line of action. And honestly, you could have done any pose along that line. Lines of actions are not subject to one pose. Now, but how about we think of a specific pose and then we draw a line of action that we think would match it. So let's say we have someone like Superman flying. Let's try that. They're going up into the sky. What I think would match that is a line like that. And now I'm going to show you why I think it matches. So we're going to put his head right here. Actually, no. We're going to bring it right there. Not that much of a difference, but still. Here, have him facing up. Have his chest. Match that a bit-ish. No, his chest will be facing that way. So, have that. And then his pelvis is going to be right here. And now, his legs are going to kind of follow this line of like... Don't want to go too far off it. We're going to go here and here. Boom. Boom. And now, we're going to have this arm go up there. And this arm go boom. And this looks a little bit more feminine, but there you go. And then they're flying, whoosh, whoosh. There's the wind. There's a bird in the sky. Look at them go. You have a little cape that's flying with them. There's our Superman pose. So look at all these poses we have here. I know we didn't draw those ones, which, those two are essentially the same. There you go. But this is something that could help a lot with your art. If you're struggling with feeling like, oh, my characters feel stiff, all of my people feel like there's no emotion, there's no action, try using lines of action. Let's see. Let's do this. Oh, hello, not all of you are gone. Right here. We're gonna draw a more in-depth line of action. So we have, like, let's just focus on, like, the top half of our buff stick figures. We're gonna go boom. Now, since we're only focusing on the top half, I'm gonna be drawing my stick figures more like here's the face, here's my chest, here's the chest of the guy, and like this. Maybe arms will reach the picture, but this is all I'm doing. I'm just focusing on the top half of this person, which maybe you might get into the pelvis, but you don't have to. We're gonna go right here. This guy's gonna be facing that way. And then we're gonna have the chest, and then this person is chest. I guess we'll have the torso right there. This person's like putting their hands down on a table, they're leaning forward, maybe they're smacking their face. Like, man, but now they're leaning forward with that line of action. And there you go. There's just the top half of that guy. And I mean, I'm sure we could do the same thing with, like, maybe just the pelvis and the legs. So let's say we have, that's our line of action. Let's try it. Now, this is even a challenge for me. I've never actually tried this. So, let's say we have our pelvis right here. And then we have leg. I mean, it's actually pretty easy with legs if you want to do that. Boom. But then where's our other leg? We have other leg just doing this. Easy, like they're sitting on something. So leg. Boom. Boom. Leg. Boom. Boom. But yeah, we could even do lines of action with like flowers. So let's say we have a little like picture right here. Just gonna draw a little rectangle. This is a little picture. And let's say that, hey, don't crap out of me. There we go. That's our line of action in our picture. I'm gonna put person right here. Let's say they're looking up. So we're looking behind this person. I'm gonna give this person hair just for the sake of this picture. I'm gonna give her long hair, and her hair is gonna follow this line of action. Boom. Erase that part. There's her hair. And then she has her muscular stick figure, chest and shoulders. But there are her luscious locks. It's following that line of action. Now, let's try and add something else. Let's say, so this, I'm interpreting this as wind. So this wind is carrying her hair up into the picture. What else is it gonna carry? Let's say cherry blossoms. So we're gonna have blossoms get carried off with the wind. And as they get farther away, the smaller they get. Don't judge my squiggly, squaggly blossoms. They're beautiful. And and let's say there's some that come around her. So we have our little blossom right here, little blossom right here, little blossom right here, little blossom right here. But they get just swept about like that. And then we could add like one more element. Let's say we have some tree branches. We can have the trees, boom, just little squiggly lines that can be also following the line of action. Something like that, you know? And obviously some of this doesn't make sense perspective-wise, but I hope the idea gets across. So we have some blossoms, and we can show them being pulled towards the direction of where the line of action is going. Obviously, you could have it going that way if you wanted, but I am having it go this way. So we have our blossoms getting pulled that direction, and there's those, but yeah, there we go. Then we have that. So, and you've created a tiny little muscular stick figure cherry blossom picture. You're welcome. So there you have it. I hope that was kind of helpful. I hope it was insightful. It was kind of interesting on my part too, because I haven't done this a whole lot, but I think it's a good exercise to go for, especially if you feel like your characters are just getting really stiff, you feel like you're drawing the same thing over and over again, something like that. Just try something like a line of action. Draw your character falling, or doing some weird donkey kick push-up, or flying like Superman. Like, it could be anything. And maybe you could try and just make your lines of action more complicated. I don't know, but go for it. Try it out. Try doing this exercise. You could draw yourselves like just a page of blocks that you have to fill in, and you have to draw a picture with a line of action. Whatever works for you. But I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you had fun drawing with me if you did. And thank you so much for stopping by and taking a look. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye!